So, a simple saturation cycle with subcooling of liquid refrigerant by vapor refrigerant. So, first let us look to simple saturation cycle. So, in simple saturation cycle, there is a compressor. After that comes the condenser. So this is not condenser. This is expander. And after this expansion valve comes the evaporator. So this is the evaporator. Here, what happens is, so after this condenser means some vapor is changing into liquid form. That is condensation. So that is happening in this condenser. So after condenser, that liquid is passing through an expansion valve. So when it is passing through expansion valve, automatically pressure will be reduced, because expansion valve is the only in which expansion takes place. As expansion takes place, pressure will be reduced. So here we are having a liquid expands, that is pressure is reduced. When the pressure of a liquid is reduced, there is a chance that it will be a mixture of vapor and liquid. So here there will be only liquid, and here there is liquid plus vapor. So this liquid plus vapor is passing through this evaporator. When it is passing through evaporator, it will absorb heat from outside. So this entire thing will be changing into vapor. So here we are having a vapor. But look, after the expansion valve, pressure will be less. So say that pressure is about say 0.2 bar. So here, even though we are having vapor, this pressure is less. So if pressure is less, boiling point will be very less. That means here, if we are getting the vapor means this pressure and their liquid changes to vapor. That vapor's boiling point or the temperature of that vapor will be very less. Suppose let us call that as 12 degree or so. So now this vapor will be undergoing compression. So as it undergoes compression, the temperature and the pressure will increase. Say that temperature becomes some 1 bar, and pressure become 1 bar, because compression, it is a compression process, and as compression process occurs, temperature too increases. Say it becomes 50 degree. So this now it become the temperature and pressure are increased here, and that passes through condenser. So here here vapor form, it is in vapor form. So as it passes through condenser, it get condensed to give liquid form, and the entire cycle continues. Now what happens here is, look, after evaporator, the vapor coming is at a lower temperature, and after condenser, here look, it is 1 bar and 50 degrees Celsius. So at 1 bar, at 0.2 bar, the boiling temperature were 12 degrees Celsius. That means at 1 bar anyway the boiling temperature will be greater than 12 degrees Celsius. Let us take that at 1 bar the boiling temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. That means at 30 degrees Celsius, here condensation will occur. So after condensation, the liquid coming here will be having 30 degrees Celsius. That means even though we are having vapor here, liquid here, the vapor here is having a temperature 12 degrees Celsius, but the liquid here having is a higher temperature 30 degrees Celsius. So what we are doing is, we will be making use of this vapor to cool this liquid, because this liquid is at a high temperature. So here look, this after evaporator, we are passing this liquid to compressor via a heat exchanger. So we are giving a heat exchanger here, and then it is passing to compressor. Similarly, this after compressor, we will be passing this to a heat exchanger, and after that only it will be given to an expansion valve. So when it is depicted in a D diagram, you can see that after evaporator, this one is passed through a heat exchanger to cool the liquid coming out of this condenser. So first, in the first case, it was like after expansion 1, in BC it is the refrigeration, in evaporation takes place. So as evaporation takes place, entire mass is changed into C. C is vapor. Then it is compressed, where it is condensed, and this all happens. Now what happens is, from here, this is the condensed liquid. This is the this is the vapor. So this is the condensed liquid. So the condensed liquid, this condensed liquid is used to is entered into heat exchanger, such that this vapor, this is the vapor from evaporator. This vapor from evaporator absorbs heat from the condensed liquid, so that when we are drawing the diagram, the water, the liquid coming out of this one, this is the liquid coming out of condenser, will not be saturated one, but it will get subcooled to a point 3 dash because of the heat exchanging takes place in this exchanger. Similarly, the vapor coming out of evaporator, usually this must be a saturated vapor, but what happens is, this vapor is superheated to 0.1 dash because of this heat exchanging process. So after that only it get compressed into a 0.2. So these are the modifications coming into place because of introduction of this heat exchanger. So our diagram is modified in this way. So here, when we are looking at the refrigeration effect, that will be H1 dash minus H4 for 1 kilogram of mass. H1 dash minus H4. So we should find H1 dash. So H1 we already know. If we are knowing the pressure, or if we are knowing the evaporator pressure, then from tables we can find H1. But we should get H1 dash. H1 dash is actually, if we are having the Cp of this particular gas, then H1 dash is equal to H1 plus. So from 1 to 1 dash, this is actually gas only, but there is an increase in temperature. So let us call here the temperature is T1 dash, here temperature is T1. So that addition of heat is Cp into T1 dash minus T1. So that much heat is added to H1. So H1 plus Cp into T1 dash minus T1 will be H1 dash. Similarly here we should find 3 dash. We should have 3 dash. For 3 dash, it is H3 minus this much heat is extracted from this liquid. So H3 minus Cp into T3 minus T3 dash. So that is the heat extracted from the liquid. So we will be able to obtain H3 dash. And this can be used to, if we are to find the work of this turbine work or compressor work, then it is H2 minus H1 dash. If you have to find the refrigerating refrigerating effect, then it is H1 dash minus H4. So is H3 dash. So we can make use of these two things to find H3 dash and H1 dash. So here, in a usual simple saturation cycle, we are using a heat exchanger such that we are able to exchange heat from the condensed liquid, which is at a higher temperature, to the vapor, which is at a lower temperature, and thereby we are able to increase the refrigeration effect. So we are able to increase the refrigeration. Usually this is the refrigeration effect, but now we have increased the refrigeration effect. So this is the advantage of using a heat exchanger here. So that's all about simple saturation cycle with subcooling of liquid by